I have a question. So I am in the process of building a home, and there's a lot of stuff that advice that my mother has given me that is anti what you're saying. So I need to understand this a little bit better.
All right. So
Um,
tell us who you are so the whole world can know.
I'm Paula Wood.
Hey, Paula.
I live in the DC area, and yeah, I'm buying a house.
Oh, listen, everybody give Paula a hand clap for being able to buy a house in the DC area because listen, that's some expensive property.
Well,
So that is wonderful. So go ahead.
actually moving out into the country in Frederick, Maryland, because
That
it's a little bit more affordable out there.
that's all right. Listen, you're still in the area. Come on. All right. Talk to us about what you're doing. Give us some example of the advice, and then we'll tell you what's really going on. Okay.
Okay, sure thing. So the advice given was to put down a large down payment to eliminate the PMI. And so I've already given the builders around 30,000, like $29,050.
Mhm.
And I have another 64,000 that I was going to bring at closing
Right.
to get to that 20% down payment.
Mhm.
Does the PMI matter with the P.I.L.L method? I also did buy down the interest rate, which I heard you say earlier wasn't the best thing to do either.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. But what's done is done.
hey, what's done is done, right?
Listen, when we know better, we do better.
Yeah, I just don't want to make any more mistakes.
Listen, here's what we're talking about, folks. What she's talking about, the mistakes that are being made are not mistakes she's doing on her own. The mistakes that are being made are the mistakes that she's being taught. This is called best practices. All right. If you got a book on how to buy a house, she is going right down the line, following what has been taught to do for years. And at the P.I.L.L method, we're going to tell you why that is so costly to follow what the banks and what this knowledge has done for us over the years. But everybody's doing it, but nobody's ever really counted the cost until now. So continue, Ms. Paul.
Yeah, so that was, I mean, basically the question is, should I even worry about the PMI or just go in with as little money as possible and then implement the P.I.L.L method? But, when I was looking at the mortgage costs and, the house is already, more than what I should be purchasing. I will say that.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, I have a plan for that.
Okay.
So yeah, and then the long-term plan, I guess what I'll say is this. The reason to put the 20% down was I have a young son and I am a single woman. And
Mm-hmm.
so the idea was when I got married one day in the near future, possibly,
Mm-hmm.
that the home would be turned into a rental property.
Yes.
And then the money that I would cash flow, ideally, would pay for my son's private education so that my new husband wouldn't have to incur that cost, right? So the home would pay for tuition.
Listen, that's wonderful. So you're looking at being able to take cash out later, not necessarily putting the 20% down to affect the monthly payment.
Correct.
Okay, you're looking at the future. Okay. All right. So, Ms. Paula, what are you seeing on the screen right about now?
Down payment deception.
Why are you laughing?
It's in large Elizabethan letters.
All right. So here's what we're talking about. It's not too long ago. I had a guy that actually lived across the street from me, and he was building a home for $400,000. And this is what he asked me: should he put $100,000 down so he could finance $300,000 instead of $400,000 at 3% for 30 years? Because this money was not only going to help him save some money and then help him to cash out later, right? But he was also going to avoid PMI. So is that kind of where we're going?
Absolutely.
So this is what I told him. All right. What you need to do, sir, is get the $400,000 loan at 3%, not the $300,000 loan. He says, what are you talking about, Don? So we started comparing, because he was also an engineer. And listen, I live in Huntsville, Alabama, and you can't swing a dead cat around here and not hit an engineer. Okay. Because there are more engineers here per capita than practically anywhere else in the world. And so when engineers come to my office, they come with their spreadsheets, they come loaded for bear because they've got it all figured out. Every engineer that has ever walked into my office has walked out with our program. Okay? Here's one of the reasons why. So do you see the comparison here? On the left side is what I recommend. On the right side is what the engineer was recommending because he had the money to do it. $400,000. And so I'm looking, he said, now look, Don, you want to give me a $1,600 payment? I got a $1,200 payment over here. All right. And then the total interest paid on your side, Don, is $207,111. And the payment on my side is $155,000. Are you seeing that?
Yes.
So far, the $400,000 loan is losing. Plus, you walk into the loan, he say, I want to walk into this thing with $100,000 in equity. I walk in with equity. All right.
Right.
And I said, okay, well, here's what I want you to also to take a look at. Do you see where it says total interest paid as a percentage of principal? All right. So we're going to take a look at that. Total interest paid as a percentage of principal on both loans is 51.77%. 0.778 and 0.777 on the other one. Practically the same. So the ROI for the bank is exactly the same on these two loans. Okay. So if the bank is going to make the same 51%, they would love to make the 51% on the $300,000 loan because they already have $100,000 of their money back that they can lend out. So far, so good. All right.
Yes.
So what's next? So we're going to bring up what's next. So here is the difference between the two loans. We have a $400,000 loan and a $300,000 loan, and we're looking at the total interest cost for 30 years on both loans. So if we have the $300,000 loan over a 30-year period, the $300,000 loan saves $51,779.60 in interest. Wow. Okay. Now he's making a strong case here. All right. But I said, now let's take a look at the $400,000 loan at the amortization schedule. All right. So in the very first payment on the $400,000 loan, $686.42 goes to principal, $1,000 goes to interest. But I asked him, where is your $100,000? He said, it's still in the bank. I said, could you now apply the $100,000 to the loan? So by placing that $100,000 on the loan, it takes him to payment number 125.
He can't do that though with the money that's already in the bank.
That's the money that's in the bank.
Okay, got it.
He's taking the money out of the bank now. He's not using it as a down payment. He's using it as a prepayment.
No, that's what I mean. Like the money that he put, if it was him with the down payment in the bank, could he like do some refinancing situation and take the money out and restart it, I guess? I don't know.
Oh, no. The way that he wanted to do it, he wanted to get it to $300,000, but he would have starting out on payment number 1 for a 30-year loan. You see what I'm saying?
Got it.
So instead of starting out on payment number 1 for a 30-year loan, he's still getting to $300,000, but he's doing it in 1 month on this loan, which means what? He just saved $110,000 in interest that he'll never have to pay. Now, remember on the other loan, he was going to save $51,000 over a 30-year span. He just saved $110,000 he never had to pay, and he did it in 1 month.
But Don has some valuable information that can contribute to the quality of a person's life, and it only costs you a few dollars. It's his book. Why not get that?
I'm going to go through the P.I.L.L method myself with some of my investment properties. So I'm going to link up with Don, and then I'm going to sit down with him, show him my investment portfolio, and see how I can eliminate interest.